Hi, I'm Clovis Casali in Paris. Welcome to Encore, coming up on the show. Cult filmmaker David Lynch takes his art one step further with a photography exhibition in Paris, dark and mysterious as one could expect. It's a Disney classic known to all. Now a movie starring Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson explores the story behind the making of Mary Poppins. And we'll take you underground to the Paris metro, where many international productions are filmed. But first, we delve into the murky and mysterious world of David Lynch. The American filmmaker has achieved cult status with movies such as Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, and Mulholland Drive, just to name a few. But did you know that David Lynch is also a musician, designer, and photographer? In recent years, he's undertaken many artistic projects in the French capital, where he spends a lot of his time. He currently has a photo exhibition on at the Maison Européenne de la Photographie. It's called Small Stories. Jade Barker takes us on a tour.
Hello, my name is David Lynch.
Weird, wondrous, dark, and often disturbing. Welcome to the world of David Lynch. Best known for his work in film, the creative maestro is also a musician, a designer, and a photographer. And it's this medium that he's chosen to tell Paris his small stories. Come with me as we delve inside, if you dare. Given carte blanche by the Maison Européenne de la Photographie, and the result are these 40 dreamlike photographs. Like in his iconic films, Elephant Man and Eraserhead, he chose to create the images in black and white. And that's not where the cinematic similarities end. Lynch lovers may recognise familiar imagery and motifs. Murky, mysterious and surreal, the pictures, like many of his films, feel halfway between dream and nightmare. To see. David Lynch is clearly a man of many talents, but are there some similarities across his different mediums, for example, between his films and these photographs?
Oh yes, with David Lynch, whether you're talking about his paintings, his lithography, his films, even his music, they're all from the same realm.
How would you describe David Lynch's style, his universe, if you like?
As soon as you talk about David Lynch, you think immediately of cinema. But if you're interested in his work, you'll soon see he's also engaged in all forms of art.
It's been many years since one of Lynch's curious tales has graced the big screen, the last one being Inland Empire in 2006. Like in his films, he leaves these miniature stories up to the viewer to interpret. The photos are organised around 4 themes: interiors, windows, heads and still lifes. But that's as far as the explanation goes.
I'm not sure what I see. I see a lot of discord, and I see discord at a very primal level.
It's surreal, it's a work of fantasy, a bit frightening, well, very frightening. I don't know what to make of it.
I wouldn't be able to describe. There's objects put together, and I think this is his kind of approach, that he puts objects together and trying to guess what it's all about.
Well, in the words of David Lynch himself, sometimes there are interesting stories that are small. That brings us to the end of my story, but if you want to make your own David Lynch interpretations, you can come check out this exhibition here at the Maison Européenne de la Photographie until the 16th of March.
Now, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If that word rings a bell, then you've probably seen the Disney classic Mary Poppins. The film has been watched and loved by several generations of children. 50 years after it first hit the silver screen, a movie starring Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson shows how Walt Disney battled to clinch a movie deal with a reluctant author. Saving Mr. Banks has just been released in France. Yuka Royer has more.
Well, Pamela Travers, you can't imagine how excited I am to finally meet you.
Would you mind? My name is Mrs. Travers, Mr. Disney.
Oh, Walt, now you gotta call me Walt.
Walt Disney goes on a charm offensive. 20 years he's waited for this opportunity to negotiate a movie deal with the author of Mary Poppins. He'd promised his daughters to bring the magical nanny to life. But persuading its author to sell the rights proved a daunting task. P.L. Travers kept rejecting the studio's offer until in 1961 she finally accepted an invitation to meet the filmmaker in Hollywood.
Welcome, Mrs. P.L. Travers, to the City of Angels.
It smells like
Jasmine.
chlorine and sweat.
Emma Thompson plays the haughty British children's writer, opposite Tom Hanks playing the role of the American visionary.
Do we know what they talked about? No, we don't. So there's always a what if and a compression. But we have tapes from the rehearsal room, so we were able to listen to the tapes and find a lot of that information.
And this is what I want to make very clear. The book should be read very carefully for atmosphere.
Now, let us begin.
In the film, Travers gives the Disney creators a very hard time, going over every detail and making sure nothing is out of line with the original story.
No. Responsible is not a word.
We made it up.
Well, unmake it up.
All from supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Stop! Mary Poppins is not for sale.
But gradually, Uncle Walt manages to thaw her frostiness and convince her to accept Mary Poppins to be adapted into a musical fantasy, a live-action film mixed with animation. The film also sheds light on P.L. Travers' personal history. Much of the inspiration for the magical nanny came from the author's own life.
For me, this was almost the most complex and the most interesting role I've ever played.
It's the first time Walt Disney himself has been featured in a film as a main character. Tom Hanks embodies the giant of the movie industry on a quest to win rights for a flying umbrella. The 1964 film won a record 13 Oscars.
Hundreds of films are shot in Paris every year, and for directors, capturing the mood of the city is essential. Filming iconic landmarks also, and among them is the Metro. International box office hits such as Inception, Amélie and Midnight in Paris all have scenes in the underground system. Here's how the filming is made possible. You'll see there are constraints and rules.
A scene from the upcoming French movie Les Jours Venus. It's one of around 60 productions a year that film in the Paris Metro.
The metro is part of the Parisian way of life. There isn't a specific famous shot of one metro station. It's just a natural means of transport. A Parisian who doesn't take the metro is a weird exception.
A permit to shoot here on Line 3 for the day has cost the production €4,000. On a line that isn't too busy like this one, cameras and crew are allowed to shoot in the carriages.
We can ask for anything. They can then discuss it, the overground metro, taking over a station, filming in a studio. Anything is possible. You just have to submit your request.
For larger productions or to recreate a specific era, the Phantom Station at Porte des Lilas can be hired out and entirely redecorated. But this doesn't come cheap. A day here will cost filmmakers €15,000.
The metro has always been present in films and throughout the history of cinema. If you want to show the history of Parisian transport and the city of Paris, then you film the metro and tell your story through the metro.
As well as being a great advert for the French capital, filming requests are also a nice earner for the city's transport operator, netting them up to €200,000 a year.
Well, that's it for this edition of Encore. Do join us on our social networks and on France24.com with versions of the website in English, French and Arabic. I now leave you with the trail of a blockbuster out now in France, 300 Rise of an Empire tells the story of a Greek general who attempts to unite Greece to fight off a Persian invasion. An action movie starring Sullivan Stapleton and Evergreen. Thank you all for watching. See you soon.
That breeze became a wind. A wind, my brothers, of sacrifice. A wind of freedom. A wind of justice.